Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse of the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations and breaking away from the one we're in now. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw this first Friday of September 5th, 2025. I have 5 fine tarot cards to throw for you. Let's go right to the tarot cam. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I got my props ready. I'm going to set my Hemingway books aside for a moment. And let's bust out the tarot cards. Yeah, you always got to make sure that box is empty before you start throwing. There we go. There's the informative book with the sun card on the front. We'll keep that handy just in case. And these 5 cards are for you, dear viewer, whenever you are watching the program. I realize we already have friends in the chat, like Puck Elf. Thanks a lot, Puck Elf, for joining us from way down under whenever you are. It's also Friday where I'm at, here in California. These 5 cards are for you whenever you tune in. When you tune in, this is when you needed to see these 5 cards. Please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear with 5 cards, getting us ready for the first Friday in September. Thank you, Tarot World, for all the great messages. I know you got 5 cards special just for us today. 5 cards, please. Five cards, please. Thank you. Oh, that's the one I want. There we are. Hey, this is for entertainment purposes only. That's why you're tuning in to STARCARD Podcast. We're just having fun. But maybe these 5 cards are 5 cards that we can integrate in a fun way into our lives. This Friday into a great weekend. Here we go. I like that. It's the 10 of Pentacles. He's been a star this week, I would say. The 10 of Pentacles talks about wealth, financial security, family, long-term success, and contribution. Nice. Well, when you've worked hard all week for a goal like that, this is a good feeling. This is a good place to start. You put the money in the bank. You got the paycheck. All right, because it's payday. Here we go. Next. Ooh, it may be payday, but we also got the astral world, the spirit world. They got stuff going on too. It's the High Priestess. The High Priestess talks about the subconscious and intuition. We're cool and comfortable in the 3D world, and we're paying attention now to the 4D and the 5D. We're elevating our consciousness. I say as I flip the Hanged Man card. The Hanged Man says, take another look at things. All right, again, we're done with work. It's Friday. We're thinking about fun. We're going to follow our intuition, whatever brings us joy. We got a whole new look with the weekend ahead of us. What's coming at us? Oh, yeah. Well, how about another message? It's the World card, which suggests completion. It's the end of the week again. I think the tarot world is saluting us for working hard the way we did this week. And I got my fingers crossed for the last card. Here I go. Yeah, nice. Again, more messages. Have a good Friday. Here's the King of Swords, and he says to proceed energetically. Let's go ahead and read what it says on the Knight of Swords card. Ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast thinking, defending beliefs. The weekend is a great time to regroup, right? Because don't forget, Monday's around the corner. But hey, everybody, have a great weekend. And those are some nice cards to look at to start with. Let's set these aside. Here we go. All right, so today I want to wrap up all the things I was discussing about handwriting and throwing tarot cards. And I want to tell you about Ernest Hemingway. And I know a little bit about him. I did study him when I was in college, and some other writers as well. So anyway, one way that Ernest Hemingway used to write was he used to go sit at a sidewalk. Oh, let me start over. One way Mr. Hemingway used to write in the early 20s and 30s in Paris is he used to go to a sidewalk cafe and sit at a table. He would order a cafe and people would be walking by and there'd be other diners alongside him or what have you, but he'd sit there with his notebook and write. And one reason was because it was for convenience and necessity. It was the only place he could do it. So he's sitting in public and he's writing in his notebook and he's doing it for hours at a time at a table. But, you know, he's ordering coffees and he's being respectful to the waiters, you know, for sure. He's just not taking up space and preventing other customers from sitting there. He's participating. And in any case, that seems like a challenging thing to do, to write what would become, you know, masterworks of the English language while you're sitting at a cafe and there's people talking and making noise. But again, while he was working there, nobody bothered him, nobody disturbed him. He was just getting into his zone. So now I want to tell you about another place where Mr. Hemingway used to write. This is later on in his career when he was very successful, and he bought a little place. No, I'm going to say it's like a little place. He got a little, well, okay, so he got a really nice place. Got a really nice place in Key West in Florida. The Florida Keys are islands that swoop down in a little arc right off the bottom of the peninsula of Florida. And at the very end, there's Key West, and Ernest Hemingway has a house there that you can actually still visit now. It's like a museum. I've been there. But I knew this before I visited, that at his place in Key West, he had a garage with a second story. The upstairs was his writing studio, and there was only one way to get into the garage, and that was through the second floor. So the garage was like all locked on the bottom, and you could only get there through the second floor by walking over a plank from the main house. There was a little balcony on the second story, and that plank would be connected to the window in the garage. So this was also to discourage his family and friends from dropping in on him when he's writing. Also, by the way, at this time, Mr. Hemingway is still writing longhand. And this is what I was talking about earlier, how your brain forms different neural pathways, new ways of thinking, overlapping data storage points, multiple ways of handling things, you know, depending on how you write. Now, are you printing? Are you handwriting? Are you typing? All those are different ways of operating how you creatively express yourself. So he was still writing longhand on a yellow notepad, a legal notepad, when he was sitting in his attic in Key West and writing his stuff out. And then at that time in his career, he could afford to have someone type it out for him. So when he was done with his notes each day, he'd hand it to a secretary who would type it out. But each day he would go back to his studio. You know, nobody disturbs him. And he would start off by looking at what, you know, the last two paragraphs were that he wrote the day before. And then he would like get into his groove and keep telling his story. Now I'd like to share with you, I have quite a collection of Mr. Hemingway's books. I'm surprised I still have these. Let's take a look at the tarot cam. All right. So this book is called The Garden of Eden, and this was actually published in the 1980s. It was his last unfinished public work. And am I saying that right? It was his last unpublished work is what it was. And I guess somebody cleaned it all up and made it presentable. And so this is a book that most people didn't even know about. Hemingway didn't publish it himself. It was published posthumously. Okay. Then there's Across the River Into the Trees. I guess Hemingway would consider it a romance. You know, all his books have some kind of romance going on, but this took place in Venice, which is a very romantic city. So that was a fun book to read. But now, hey, check out that old copy. This is my beat up copy. I must have got this in college in the 1980s. It's called A Farewell to Arms. And this was a really exciting book to read. And I believe it had something to do with this, the war in Spain. And he was an ambulance driver. He got injured. Oh, yeah. And then he went to a hospital in Switzerland. And he met a nurse who became his girlfriend and then his wife. And then they escaped. It was awesome. They escaped in a rowboat, going from a country that was taken over by the Nazis to a country that's free. I think I remember most of that correctly. Very exciting story. As you can tell, I still enjoy it. Just thinking about it. Then here's maybe his most famous work called The Sun Also Rises. It's about how he visited Pamplona, Spain. And out there in Pamplona, they have the running of the bulls. And there's lots of talk about and with matadors and that whole culture. Very exciting book to read. Mr. Hemingway really knows how to immerse his reader in the environment. So I remember when I was reading these books, I'm thinking, wow, this is what Europe looks like. I would later go to Europe, and I would say Mr. Hemingway was doing a great job. He really, was better than a Let's Go Europe book. He kind of let me know what was coming ahead of us. That's right. I gave everybody a little bit of a pun there. I'm also the author of Let's Go Off Planet with Breakaway Ray. And if you are interested in that book, please see the description. And then finally, this is a movable feast. Ernest Hemingway's A Movable Feast. It's about his days in Paris when he used to sit, at the cafe and do his writing, when he used to go to the gym and practice boxing, when he got married and he had a child, the times were tough. And tells about his early days as a writer. And I think also some of his days as a newspaper writer out in Kansas, I think it was, in the Midwest of the United States. And Mr. Hemingway writes in a very smooth and simple style. He's not trying to show off his fancy vocabulary. He doesn't want to use any. His background as a newspaper writer makes him want to make sure he communicates as simply and succinctly and quickly as possible. So anyway, I want to say thanks to Mr. Hemingway. Congratulations to him on his collection of books. That advances my conversation about handwriting and writing. And, I'm obviously going to keep on returning to that. But also, all the different ways the brain works also is an analog to all the different ways the brain works psychically. People read energies in different ways. It's just, there's as much variety there as there are varieties of thumbprints, I would say. All right, so now, before we get to anyone's readings, I just have one more thing I want to do. I've got a bunch of Post-it notes here, and I was waiting to use them because I was going to go on the Typical Skeptic podcast. I didn't know if we were going to use them last night. So anyway, I want to use these now because it's taking up space on my counter here, my computer center, my studio. And I'm still interested. I want to know what's going on. I've been waiting to do this one. So if you're familiar with the Secret Space Program experiencer, Tony Rodrigues, okay, hang on a second, please. I want to get this camera straight now. I think I got it now. Good enough. So Mr. Rodrigues is a Secret Space Program experiencer. All right, let's try that. Mr. Rodrigues is a Secret Space Program experiencer, and now he is an author. And the last interview I caught with him, which was on the Typical Skeptic podcast with Rob Khalil, Mr. Rodrigues is involved in education in a very cutting edge way. And I'm interested in asking the tarot world if they want to share with us, what's coming at Tony Rodrigues. What direction is he headed? Is there any kind of foreshadowing that we can look for? We already know a lot about him, and I'll explain what I mean. And I'm going to now go back down here so we can take a look at the notes I made. Yeah, good. Okay. So I think it's still better with this light. All right, great. So I want to know more about Tony Rodrigues. We're going to have to move some of my furniture out of the way here. Okay, I want to know about Tony Rodrigues. Okay, and we're going to ask the tarot world to show us timelines of his level. We'll start with Tony in Michigan. This would be Tony. Let's see if I can get this off. There you go. This would be the Tony that was abducted as a child, and then he was returned later that night, and then he lived until his clone died. His peculiar life, it was not the trajectory he had planned, but things sure changed when his clone on the moon died, or wherever it did pass away. I forget how it worked. Yeah, actually, I think the moon was the last stop for him. And then, but anyway, that there was the abduction, right? So while he was a child in Michigan, he was abducted and taken to Planet Ceres, where he worked on a retrofitted submarine out in space, and he was a cargo engineer. He got promoted, and then also, okay, so you have the title of that one book that describes that, Ceres Colony Cavalier, and then Tony had called Project Star Maker. So while he was a slave out there on Planet Ceres, while he was a slave out there, there was a time where there was another abduction within an abduction, and he got sent away working. I don't know how many years it was inside the. Wow, this is pretty crazy. It was inside a different kind of a being, not a human, and his consciousness was used as a slave to help build a star. And so we're going to ask the tarot world if it would like to share a reflection of that. And then right now he's back here on Earth. I think he's in the United States Southwest. And right now he's, he's still making secret space program experiences because he is Tony Rodrigues. But at the same time, he's working on education, as I mentioned. He's got a remote viewing group. He's got a couple of them. He's got a program. At this point, you have to look at Tony Rodrigues and say, he's right up there with Ingo Swann when it comes to remote viewing. He's that caliber. And then he's also into the war on consciousness. Remote viewing is part of that. Remote influencing is another part. And also being part of the disclosure in the secret space program, he's telling everybody about mind control and what happened to him. And he's taking those things that people already know about, and there have been patents for these mind control patents since the late 1800s. And he's making it public, but he's also saying, let's use it to our advantage. Because according to my point of view, it's just little old me, Breakaway Ray, we're all magicians, we just don't realize it. And Tony's teaching us. So I want to know, this is like the part I want to see, what's coming for him as he's going on that path. I want to thank everyone for being patient, and I hope you're enjoying the discussion I'm presenting. If you keep showing up, I must be doing a good job, so thank you very much. So having said all that, I'm sure the tarot world has been waiting to share with me 4 timelines about Tony Rodrigues, please. Tony in Michigan, Ceres Colony Cavalier, the weird Project Star Maker part of his experience. And then what's coming from what he's doing right now? What is he generating right now? It probably overlaps and contributes to everybody. You think about how far that man has come trying to tell his story, having all of his interviews taken down, hundreds of hours, just gone missing. That's not what's going to be happening anymore, I don't think. But we'll see. Okay, so please show us what we need to see. Please tell us what we need to hear about Tony's timelines, please. Tony's timelines. We're interested in Tony's timelines. Please share with us what you can. Any foreshadowing, any reflections about Tony's timelines. Tony's timelines. Tony's timelines. Any foreshadowing coming? Any reflections on his history? These are for Tony. It's Tony's timelines. I'm going to get these organized in a minute. These are for Tony. Okay. Let me see if I can organize these even for my own benefit here. Okay. All right. Well, it's for entertainment purposes only, but tarot cards never failed me before. I think it's going to be interesting. Let's visit with Tony Rodrigues in Michigan. Two of Swords, the Crossroads card, or how about Tony's mind was blanked while he lived two lives, one on Earth and one on planet Ceres. That was part of his experience in Michigan. The Five of Wands, the conflict card. Having your consciousness fractured can create a conflict. It can affect the way you live from day to day. Wow. It's the Two of Pentacles. He had two consciousnesses to juggle, and he was really only aware of one, right? Except for those strange dreams he had all the time. Wow. Bravo, tarot world. So now let's hear about his experiences in the story Ceres Colony Cavalier, please. So the Page of Swords talks about new ideas and new ways of communicating. Yeah, when you go around saying I worked on a submarine in space outside planet Ceres and we used time travel, that's going to be a new way of communicating, some new ideas. You know, it's not just the interviews, like we mentioned, that can just be taken down. You can buy the book and have the book. Yeah. Also, there's magic all over the place in Ceres Colony Cavalier, from the technology of transporting consciousnesses to cloning and med beds. There's a lot of magic technologically speaking. Here we are in the age of Aquarius. We're going to be integrating a lot more technology than, say, for example, in the 1950s. Okay. And you know, the stuff that he's talking about, it all sounds like magic. Anyway, the last card, yeah, the Seven of Swords indicates something's hidden. Yeah, he's telling us about the hidden world of the secret space program. Yeah. All right. Now, this is some weird stuff down here. Project Star Maker. You're building a star. You are an alien. And that is just like a couple of hours away from your regular slave job on planet Ceres. Project Star Maker. The Seven of Wands indicates that there is a challenge. Let's read what it says on the card. Challenge, competition, protection, perseverance, defense, maintaining control. Yeah, perseverance. If you if you read the story like I did, I bought all these books, by the way, and read them. But I'm sorry I'm not sharing those today. Anyway, you really had to persevere in that existence that he lived. You know, he's basically playing video games, which ends up building a star. And then you only have like so many minutes to communicate for fun, you know, some socialization when you're off duty, and you had to persevere. If you were trying to like start a revolt, for example, you had to be very clever. Anyway, there's some challenges in that book besides building a star. You know, when you're a slave, you're always thinking about not being a slave. Next up, the Queen of Cups. Very interesting. Well, okay, hang on. Let me read you, and then I think I know what they're talking about. Because I read the book. Compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. Not really the things you think of when you think of books by Tony Rodrigues. But hang on a second. I think I know where they're coming from. Let's go to the next card. Wow. And yeah, it was a fast episode. That is true. So the Eight of Wands indicates speed and, of course, space flight. He was, in space a lot. Well, he was in space the whole time as that alien creature or whatever. So here's my take on it. You had the challenge of, being a slave and trying to get a revolt going. But meanwhile, in the story, it turns out that there is someone of Queen of Cups energy that's been there kind of protecting and guiding Tony. And that whole episode, Project Star Maker, it's actually supposed to be in the book series Colony Cavalier. And it's like between pages 252 and 253. Like on 252, they mention, he gets sent to this one room, they strap him down, and then this book happens. And then, a few minutes later, they wake him up. So many years have passed, but it's only been a few minutes here. And then he goes on with his slavery in Planet series. All right. So, hey, I got to hand it to the tarot world. They showed me these cards and I kind of knew what they were talking about. Of course, I have read the books, but now we haven't looked at the fun ones over here. But I'm saying we got some credibility going here. We got some confirmation. So, we know about these stories and how these cards are expressing themselves to tell us about these stories. We're probably going to get a nice message, a nice summary, and some good foreshadowing from this group over here. So, thank you very much. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see what happens. This is going to be fun. All right, so timeline with education, remote viewing, and the war on consciousness. And I think this is the last one. Here we go. First up, the Lovers. Can't get much more promising than that. And if you're not new, you know what I'm going to say, and that is that this shows a strong bond with the spirit world, like that Queen of Cups that we just looked at. Tony Rodrigues, perhaps, is a very important bodhisattva. He's bringing us a message so that we can all follow along with, the experience that he had to endure. We can just skip to the good part. Anyway, this sounds like it's a message from the spirit world that the spirit world, cares about him and is protecting him, as weird as that sounds. And he might actually agree with me. Next up, it's the walk away card, the Eight of Cups. It talks about disappointment. You're looking at the Eight Cups and, you thought you had it all together, but it looks like something's missing. It makes me wonder if that's how he doesn't, he feels right now, because all of this could be so simple. He wouldn't have to work so hard if there weren't so many, restrictions and censoring and, the way institutions and regulations are written so that, only certain types of businesses could succeed, for example. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about that. Or maybe this could be just like a good scene about Mr. Rodrigues walking away from, his previous career to bring us enlightenment. I wonder which way it's going to go. Let's find out. Well, I like that. It's the King of Swords. This guy is the King of Truth. Let's read what it says. Head over heart, disciplined, truthful, honest, mental clarity, authority. He's an authority on these subjects. That is true. And the Page of Cups. There's a happy surprise. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Let's read what it says here. The Page of Cups, creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, new love. I'm not too stressed out about this Eight of Cups, the disappointment card, because it's being handled in a constructive way. He's walking away. It's not going to work out. Even if he went back to go get the cups, he'd have to walk through water and his shoes would get all wet. It's not worth the effort. He's better off moving on in the direction of truth because he's got mental clarity. He knows what's going on. He knows where it can go. And we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? but there'll be a pleasant surprise. Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me on that fun tarot throw. I've been waiting like a week since I made these up to throw those. All right. So let me come up and say hi to everybody. All right. Hi, everybody. I see that there's been a lot of writing in the chat. Please remember, I'm not going to be able to read it all, but I sure do appreciate it. Like when the meeting ends, that's when I read it all, and I get a big kick out of it. And I want to thank everyone. Again, haven't been reading the chat at all, but I want to thank everybody for being kind and polite and courteous in the chat. I appreciate it so much. Helps. Well, what can I say? We're all here to have a good time and to have a good day and to share good vibes, right? So I'm going to get my piece of paper now, and I'm going to look for the people who have names and those little crowns with the numbers. So if you wanted a reading, ladies and gentlemen, if you go up to the top, there's a top fans button, and then I think you click on it or something. But if I can see your name and it has that little number, then I know you want a reading. Otherwise, it might be very hard for me to find. So let's see what's going on. I got to shuffle the cards real quick here, and then I'll get my piece of paper and pencil. Yes, I've already been on my hike, hiking in the dark. All right. Yeah, we're already having a good time. Yeah, I gotta need to have a little like just. Ugh. All right. So yeah, Puck Elf is number one. Let's see. Number two is Lil Cam 51. Hello, Lil Cam 51. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. I only see a one so far. I'm going to scroll up and check and see. I just see the two of you, and that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Oh, yes. Okay, Johanna, now I see you. I'm so glad you're here. I know I missed you like the last couple of days. I'm going to write down your name right now, Johanna, but you might want to acquaint yourself with that button up on the top of the chat called Top Fans. I think there's some way that you can do it where there'll be like a little number next to your name, and it makes your name stand out, and I know for sure you want a reading. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to write you down, Johanna. Okay, and then I know the tarot cards know what you need to hear, but when it's your turn, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to like look at the chat just to see if like there's like a message or direction you want me to send it in, or if you just want a general reading. I will give a general reading if I don't see any message from you right when I'm doing your reading. How's that sound? Okay, so I only see the three of you so far, and I'm going to go down to the tarot cam, and I'm going to have to take a quick drink. Yeah, that's all right. One moment, please. Oh, we're doing a good job. It's only been a half an hour. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got some fun messages to share with people in the audience today. Here we go. Okay, so I see your message there, Puck Elf. Simple blessing of love. You got it. Hello, Tarot World. Thanks for that exciting reading about Tony's timelines. And our friend Puck Elf would like a simple message of love, please. Could you please share with Puck Elf a simple message of love, please? Very good. Yes, please. A simple message of love for Puck Elf, please. This is for Puck Elf. A simple message of love. This is for Puck Elf. This is for Puck Elf. A simple message of love. This is for Puck Elf. All right. That would be exciting if we see the Lover's card again. Anyway, here we go, Puck Elf. The Hierophant, the learned man. Let me read you some of the terminology on the card. Institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules, social approval, conformity, forgiveness, bonded, mercy, wisdom, trust. We could look at it like the learning card, or we could say, because there's a lot of things getting in the way of a simple message of love. It looks pretty complicated when you're starting out with that guy. Maybe there's just something we can all learn here. Oh, are you going to teach us something? Oh, okay. Yay, the King of Cups. All right. So the King of Cups is a master of emotions, both of his own emotions and understanding others. He's very empathic. The King of Cups, emotionally balanced, compassion, diplomatic, control, balance, supportive leader, tolerance, empathic. And then that's followed with the Six of Swords, where you're being guided from rougher waters into calmer waters by a divine hand. Learn how to let your control of emotions guide you to calmer waters. Next up, it's the Wheel of Fortune. That's fate or destiny or luck or a cycling of energy because it is a wheel. And the simple message with me, the Eight of Swords says, as much as you can imagine. So, if I'm in the right ballpark or anywhere close to it, learning how to be the master of our emotions puts us in a different crowd where as much as we can imagine, we're going to get better luck. Choose your friends wisely. Anyway, let's continue. I mean, I gotta say, I could really learn about choose your friends wisely. Yeah, that's a challenge every day. Anyway, let's move on. Yay, the Queen of Wands. Well, this energy is what I think about you, Puck Elf. You have a zest for life, and this is the Zest for Life lady. And let me read to you the exciting terminology on her card. Courage, confident, independence, focused, zest for life, determination, joy. No one's going to stop you from having a good time. You're the man. Yeah. And you're quite comfortable. And if someone's jealous about it, that's their problem. But this is the Empress. You're in quite a comfortable position. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, action. I don't know. I don't know if these describe you or, potential lady friends. These are both very lovely ladies. I'd like to meet them myself. And then finally, there's the Hermit. I don't know, Puck Elf. You know this probably better than I do. I would say that because you are the master of your emotions, you create a situation where you can get as lucky, quote unquote, as you can imagine with wonderful potential mates. And then there's the Hermit card. He's he's like checking them out. Look, he's looking at him. So, hey, how's it going? I'm the Hermit. Anyway, I hope you had a good time, Puck Elf. Thanks. I had a good time. I appreciate when you participate. Thanks a lot, Puck Elf. Thanks for subscribing. You're the man. All right, let's move on to Lil Cam 51. All right, so Lil Cam, if there's something you'd like me to focus on. All right, you're welcome, Puck Elf. Thank you. Cool. Lil Cam, I'll give you a general reading. I know the tarot cards know what you want to hear or what you want to talk about. But if you want to drop something in the chat, I got my eye on it right now, and I'll look for it. But otherwise, can we please have a fun, helpful message for Lil Cam? Please show us what Lil Cam needs to see. Please tell us what Lil Cam needs to hear. Thank you. Please show us what Lil Cam needs to see. in a fun and helpful way. Please tell us what Lil Cam needs to hear. Thank you. These are for Lil Cam. Oh, yeah, very good, Lil Cam. I see. Yes, these are for Lil Cam. These are for Lil Cam. Yeah. These are for Lil Cam. All right. These are for Little Cam. All right, sweet. All right, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is all exciting to me. Thank you very much, Little Cam, for inviting me to read. Here we go. First up, oh yeah, nice. The High Priestess. Let me read the terminology for us all again. Intuition, sacred knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine, trust yourself, sensitivity, purity, high morals. I want to say that this is a very strong caliber personality, and makes me think of like not your run-of-the-mill person is what I want to say. This is someone who's balancing the real world just fine with a very expansive astral perception. So anyway, let's continue. I mean, that's like an auspicious start. And we've seen we've seen how the tarot world is on fire this morning. So let's continue. All right. The Eight of Wands indicates travel, indicates flight, also indicates speed. So she's doing some kind of magic. It's making something happen fast. Wow. And we're going to go right to the end, and it's going to be over before it starts. It's the World card. It indicates completion. The whole thing is going to be finished in a hurry, and there was some magic involved. Let's read what it says on the World card. Completion, accomplishment, wholeness, attainment, fulfillment, travel, celebration of life, arriving, travel, arriving, travel and arriving. Whoa. And then when you get there, you have the Two of Wands. You already have a plan for when you get there. That's to say, again, you manifested this. This is a long time planning. You did your magic. And now, before you know it, it's over and it's done. And now you're in a styling position. You got the whole world in your hands. You have a full view of where you can go, and you have a plan to get there. And also this card says the universe knows what your plan is. You have the green light, go. All right. Let's see what the second sentence has to say. I want you to be able to see your cards here. There we go. Okay, here we go. All right, the Four of Pentacles. Time to pinch your pennies. Hold on to what is valuable. Hey, it's the Death card. This indicates change. Let me read what it says on the card here. Endings, beginnings, change, transformation, transition, metamorphosis. I know how to say the word. Hang on. Metamorphosis, end of cycle. This is the old expression, the Depression era expression, save for a rainy day. If you're saving for a rainy day, you'll be ready for whatever changes come your way. That's not, I just actually said that off the cuff. It happened to rhyme with my name. So that's not part of the expression. Save for a rainy day. You'll be ready for anything that comes your way. My name is Breakaway Ray. Here comes your third card. It's the Two of Pentacles. You're going to be juggling some stuff. You're going to have multiple priorities. You have to pay attention in more than one place. Wow. And then the Two of Swords shows up and says, you'll be asked to make a decision. You just don't have all the information yet, but you'll be ready to, whatever decision you make, it'll be a good one. You have all the weapons, all the tools you need in your hands. But you just got to wait for that information to come in. You might as well just sit and relax. Let things play out. Wait for your turn. Trust your intuition. Look, trust your intuition when it comes to this part. You're going to make a good choice. You had a good plan to begin with. The spirit world was behind you the whole time. They know where you want to go. And then the moon indicates more intuition. We started with intuition, we ended with intuition. In the middle, we had a change. Anyway, let's read what it says on the moon card for Little Can. Illusion, mystery, dreams, intuition, fear, anxiety, subconscious, premonitions. I don't know if any of these dynamics apply, Little Cam, but I hope it was entertaining and maybe inspirational. You seem like you have a lot of good things going, and you're going to be in a good position when the time comes to make any kind of decision, because you're prepared, both mentally, in your mind, you see the path coming at you, and also the way things are playing out for you. So anyway, thank you very much for inviting me to read, Little Cam. I appreciate it. All right, and then Johanna, finally. Johanna, I know the tarot cards know what you want to talk about, but if you want to drop in the chat real quick, a reminder to me, I'll try and help focus on that part. Yeah, you're welcome, Little Cam. Thank you. All right. So these cards are for Johanna. I know Johanna's in the audience a lot. I see her in the chat. I want to say thank you very much. You're a dedicated viewer and subscriber. I appreciate it. Right, these cards are for Johanna. We have a helpful, fun message for Johanna, please. Thank you for all the great messages today. We're putting our best foot forward on a Friday morning. It's going to be another awesome weekend. Sweet. These cards are for Johanna. We have a fun, helpful message for Johanna, please. Here we go. These are for Johanna. Thank you. These cards are for Johanna. Ooh, okay. Right. Oh, okay. You get a lot of cards today here, Johanna. And you get the Queen of Pentacles too. And let me start off by reading about the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, nurturing, practical, providing financially, a working parent. Anyway, that's great to have. The good parent card, the hardworking parent, the caring parent, organizing time for herself, but also for everybody else who's counting on her and loves her. Okay, then let's move on. It's the Chariot. I just said, let's move on. We got the Chariot. The Chariot says, movement, progress, action, determination, willpower, control, direction, departure, and courage. Yeah. And, we're heading towards the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is the fruits of your labor card. So we're going in that direction. We've been doing something, and we're putting money in the bank, figuratively speaking. We could be putting energy in the bank with our relationships with other people. We could be, anyway, let's move on with the next card here. Oh, well, how wonderful. It's the Four of Wands card. It's the homecoming card. This sounds like, this is what it sounds like to me, Johanna, because I lived with people like this, like my grandmothers and all my aunts. This sounds like a matriarch who is constantly getting ready for, the big barbecue when she has the family over. And then she has to think ahead, because I'm going to have the family over again on July 4th. And then I'm going to have some of my grandchildren hanging out in August, jumping in the pool. So, that's just one idea. When I see, we're heading towards these happy, wonderful, family-oriented, relaxing kinds of ideas. All right, let's go to the second sentence here. The Two of Wands again shows up. The Two of Wands says you have the green light, go. You have great plans. The universe has your back. And then, even though you have great plans, the Hanged Man shows up and he says, we should take another look at something, or he's saying you're going to have another look at something. You're going to see something the way you didn't see it before. And let's take a look. Oh, maybe this is about your plans. I'm not sure. The Hangman, pause, surrender, letting go, new perspective, enlightenment, viewing things differently than before, deep insight, sacrifice, change, and release. Your plans, maybe like for vacation plans or summer plans, or, going to transform the way you look at things. Even in my advanced age, I'm still learning new things all the time. Anyway, this is all good to me. It's okay if my plans go awry a little bit, if I miss something, because now I get a new look at something. Yeah. We get a new look at the King of Wands. Let's read about him. He's the big picture guy, by the way. We'll read what it says on the card. King of Wands, natural leader, visionary, entrepreneur, big picture, overcoming challenges, mature, career focused. And then this sentence finishes up with the Four of Cups. Here is the Four of Cups. I didn't read it. The Four of Cups. Meditation, contemplation, apathy, reevaluation, disconnected. Okay, reevaluation, that's the word I needed to hear. So you have good plans. We liked your plans, says the universe, but not everything goes the way we plan. There's a bunch of other co-creators on the planet. So it's going to be worthwhile to take a different view, because the big picture is something needs to be reevaluated. Great. And then the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles suggests that there's some kind of work, hard work, productivity, routine, conservation, efficiency, responsibility. I heard conservation more than one place in here. Conserving energy, I think. And then finally, the Six of Swords says that you are being guided to calmer waters by a divine hand. It may not feel like it. We may not recognize it. But it is said that all of us have signed up for all the things that we came down to earth to experience. Even the trials, we signed up for those because they expand our consciousness somehow. So it's all part of the plan. Stay true to yourself, because that's how you're going to follow your soul's path. You have the Queen of Pentacles energy. A responsible person here on planet Earth, responsible to the people in their lives. I hope that was helpful, Johanna. I'm sure glad I got to read for you. Thank you very much for inviting me to read. I try to be entertaining and inspirational. If anything applies to someone and it works out and it helps them out, I'm really happy to hear that. Okay, so I don't see anyone else. I only saw a 1, a 2, and then I saw Johanna. I don't see that anyone wants a reading. I guess I can scroll up real quick and check and see if I missed anybody. I'm going to be reading Puck Elf's novel after I close down the meeting. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't see anybody else. So if you want a reading, Spider Bite. Yeah, sure. So I want to move the camera up and say hi to Spider Bite. Hey, Spider Bite. I just want to say I'm really happy to see you here at STARCARD Podcast. I remember what a supportive viewer you were over at Typical Skeptic Podcast. So again, I'm very happy to see you. I'm very happy to throw you a card. Thank you very much for asking. Oh, and good morning, Sally Forth. Well, thanks a lot for welcoming me into your family life there, Sally Forth. I appreciate it. Your enthusiasm also. Let's throw a card for Spider Bite. This is for Spider Bite, our friend Spider Bite. Thanks for joining us at STARCARD. A nice card for Spider Bite, please. Well, whatever. How about a happy, fun card? Happy, fun, helpful. Helpful card. Spider Bite, please. Any card you show is going to be helpful for Spider Bite. Thank you very much. Whatever you think is going to be helpful and fun for Spider Bite. All right, Spider Bite. Let's try this one. The Six of Wands, public recognition. I wonder if this is just this is just like a mirror reflection of what just happened. You know, I publicly recognize that you're in the chat. So anyway, the Six of Wands also reads public recognition, victory, progress, and self-confidence. Thank you, Spider Bite. And oh, hey, there's Jason. Good morning, Jason. Thanks for joining us. And then, Judy. Yeah, I'd be happy to throw a card for you also, Judy. Thank you very much. Great. How about a card for Judy, please? She's across the pond tuning in. Thanks for joining us again, Judy. Can we have one helpful, fun card for Judy, please? Yeah, one fun, helpful, fun card for Judy, please. This is for Judy. This is for Judy. Wow. Wow, okay. This is for Judy. Here we go. It's a Nine of Swords. There's some work we got to do on the Nine of Swords. We're going to turn this into happy and fun. Let's take a look at it. The Nine of Swords: anxiety, worry, fear, depression, nightmares, insomnia, hopelessness, trauma, despair. And you know, Judy, I like to turn this card upside down. And let's find that. Let's just go right to the helpful part, the helpful, hopeful message. How about releasing worry and hope and reaching out? Maybe you just need to talk to somebody about it. I don't know, but anyway, thank you for letting me throw a card for you. Best of luck. I know I'll see you here next time. All right. And if there is, yeah, you're welcome, Spider Bite. If there's anyone else who'd like a card or a throw, I got my eye on the chat. Otherwise, it might be time to go. Okay. Well, I hope Jason was. I know that if Jason wants to see it, he can always watch the recording. Okay, great. Thank you, Judy. Thanks for letting me know. All right. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for helping me get it out of my system, right? I enjoy throwing tarot cards. If I can, this is what I want to do during the day. I hope everyone has a good weekend. You may see me, but it is the weekend. And I know I'm not going to like let it go for a few days, but there's other things I want to do at STARCARD Podcast. And I also got some other stuff I got to do in my regular life, but I sure am having fun hanging out with you and throwing cards. And thanks for giving me the practice. I appreciate it so much. So as you go through your day, don't forget to look up in the sky and see your star. My name is Breakaway Ray. Have a great day.